wife was both a joy and a privilege, and I remain proud of the contribution I made to our years together. Not long after we became a couple, he said, "I love you very deeply, and we make a fantastic team, but you do realize you've taken on a full-time job looking after me. Plus, for 7 months a year, you're a writer's widow while you wait for me to finish each book." In writing Bryce's memoir, I wanted to reveal the story of his life as I came to know it, as well as reflect on his astonishing literary legacy. Bryce's generous support of countless charities, his passion for wildlife and the environment, and his efforts in championing the next generation of writers were also important for me to acknowledge. I was mindful of his advice to others who were planning to write a memoir. Whitewashing a family when writing a story is not a story at all. While this is fair comment, I quickly realised that writing a memoir is a big responsibility and not for the faint-hearted. I also came to appreciate why Bryce preferred to write fiction, which allowed his imagination to roam free. From his humble beginnings in Africa to his dazzling success in advertising and as a best-selling author, Bryce's rags to riches life story resembles one of the epic tales of his books. And perhaps it took a life like his to conjure the stories he wrote. Material was no problem. There were so many stories to incorporate, from how he survived his tough childhood to the international acclaim that followed the publication of his debut novel, The Power of One, in 1989. Since Bryce passed away in 2012, a few people have approached me seeking to write his biography, but I never felt comfortable with any of their proposals. It began to make sense for me to undertake the task myself. I recognised I was in a unique position, having for many years been his closest confidant. But the task did not come without its challenges. Whilst I had known Bryce since 1993, we didn't come together as a couple until the middle of 2005. There were sections of his life I had not been a part of, and this meant I had to spend months researching archives and putting together the pieces of the jigsaw. I drafted copious notes about our years together, read and listened to hundreds of media interviews, and organised our extensive archive of photographs. I reread Bryce's books, and in doing so appreciated even more how he had woven aspects of his own life into them. I also spoke with some family members and people who had known Bryce for decades, and I am indebted to them for sharing their time and candid insights. There were inevitable gaps, but I felt I had enough material to write an authentic story told with integrity, humour, and love. In the middle of 2020, I found a battered, unmarked cardboard box in my garage containing over 120 letters written by Bryce to his mother. At first, I didn't realise what they were and came close to throwing them out, but I quickly came to see the discovery provided a cachet of pure gold for my manuscript. I only wish I had found them while Bryce was alive. I would have loved to have asked him countless questions about their contents. These precious letters also made me appreciate even more what he'd gone through in his life. I have included excerpts from these letters in this book and have retained Bryce's misspellings for authenticity. Bryce was an amazing but complex person, and uncovering the events that defined his true self has been challenging and, at times, even heartbreaking. He endured a chaotic childhood, with tenuous relationships with both of his parents, which he sometimes described as being short on love, lonely and brutal. Nonetheless, he never failed to acknowledge that his parents had done their best, living through difficult times and circumstances themselves. Bryce was blessed with a positivity and a great sense of humour from an early age, which enabled him to keep hope in his heart. Even still, emotional deprivation endured in his childhood left deep scars that never fully healed. While he was consistently Australia's #1 best-selling author, in his own eyes it was perhaps never enough. At times his psychological scars led him down pathways that caused him to be a bit reckless and, later, regretful. Admittedly, we have all done